and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and something mounts Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you in the Let's Play episode of Dawn Chorus, Rune's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Who am I? There comes no answer. I'm blank, a white board. I'm a spark swimming in darkness. I feel the edges of my body, but I don't recognize it. Everything feels strange and unfamiliar. This life, this body I'm about to inhabit, feels unfamiliar. This was the peak. I lied down and a vertical beam of light hit me with all the might of the heavens. I was touched and I ascended, but now I'm washed back on the shore in its starry night above, cold wind blowing in my face. Decades have passed since I last opened my eyes. The ground is hard and stable. This is my world. Rune? Are you waking up? I think so. Rune props himself up on his arms, sitting up on the hard wooden panels. He looks confused, but mostly very tired. What happened? What do you remember? I'm not sure. Well, you took mushrooms. We stayed in the room for a while until you decided you wanted to go out. You put on the jacket and we walked out into the forest for a while, but it was super cold, so I brought you back, shivering. You took off your jacket and lay down on the floor and dozed off. And now you're back. I hope for the light of recognition to flicker in his eyes, but there's nothing. His eyes are bleak and foggy, as if he barely understood my words. Do you need any help getting up? No, I'm fine. Rune gets up from the floor, wiping paws on his trousers, a deep ridge between his furrowed brows. He looks around the room, looking completely lost. I think I need to sit down again. And so he does, this time on the edge of the bed. I sit down next to him, concerned. Is he fully back? I remember reading that coming down from psychedelics takes a while. Putting a paw on his shoulder, I look into his eyes. Hey, everything okay? Are you still tripping? I just need a minute. I'm sorry. It's fine. I'm here if you need to talk. He stays silent for a moment, hooves rubbing against the flooring. Then he leans on me, almost knocking me over, and with his head on my shoulders, antlers alarmingly close to my face, he starts crying. It's not violent sobbing nor quiet weeping, no. A forehead rested on my shoulder, his tears flow, as if all the emotions were spent already and now only water was left, floodgates open. I pet his tired head, fingers brushing into soft hair. I hold him close and let him cry for as long as he needs, saying nothing. The tears stop quickly, and then he just leans on me with his eyes closed, breathing deeply. Minutes pass slowly. I cling to them like the deer clings to me. Carvine, I thought psychedelics are supposed to be like recreational drugs, fun and all. They weren't? What do you think? Fair point. Are you okay? Yes, I think so. He inhales deeply again before composing himself, wiping tears away from his cheeks. I'm sorry, I know it was a lot. It was definitely unexpected. How are you feeling now? Tired, like I've just taken 10 exams in a row. I have a lot to think about. I don't think I've ever been this overwhelmed before in my life. Thank you for taking care of me. I don't even want to know how it would have gone if you weren't there. I feel a terrible headache coming on. Do you need some painkillers? No, I hope it passes by itself. How are you feeling, Carvine? I have to make it up to you somehow. You were here with me for, what time is it actually? Almost 21 hours. So about 3 hours? I don't know, to be honest. Time still seems a bit of a foreign concept. It's not really applicable to this whole thing. I'd say I understand, but I don't think I do. And you don't need to make up for anything. I didn't have any plans. I was just scared. Scared something could happen to you. You seem to be having a good time for most of it. There were very scary moments when you were falling silent and staring at a wall, unresponsive. I didn't know what could even happen. I started reading about shrooms while you were out, but at the beginning I didn't know what to expect. I hope you had a good trip, though. Well, it was very much not what I had imagined. To be honest, I don't really know what happened or what I saw, and certainly I couldn't put it into words. I mostly have a lot to think about, but I feel too tired to think. I hope you didn't die of boredom in the meantime. Nah, not at all. We listened to music. You enjoyed that a lot. You laughed out loud a few times even. You said that the music was tickling you, or that the shapes were funny, or just laughed at random things. It's kind of fun staying with him here, at least in the moments when I wasn't scared for him. So, what now? Want to rest some? I think I'd like to go for a walk, see the sky. I have my jacket here. We can go right away. You'd like to go too? Leaving you alone right now doesn't seem like a good idea, to be honest, and I'd like to go, yeah. Fair. The wind howls between the trees, hostile and harsh. Still, Rune walks forward with slow and heavy steps, snout up, gazing at the tree crowns. Wonder shines in his eyes, and hasn't ceased even for a moment since we left the guest house. Carvine, you know, it's good to be alive. He seems somehow smaller than usual against the backdrop of the tall trees towering above him, eyes open wide as if to soak in their essence. His voice is quieter, too, as if disappearing in the darkness of the forest. Like, I can never explain with words just how good. Everything feels so fresh. I wish you could feel the same feeling. He smiles, finally, a warm, timid smile that reaches his eyes. Looking at the joy plain to see on his face, I quite wish I could feel it indeed. It's incredible, the difference between him now and him just a few hours ago. I didn't think I'd see him happy for the rest of the camp, but here he is, smiling at the nature around him, as if it was all he needed to be happy. And there was a certain warmth in his smile that wasn't there before. Something honest and almost childlike with his transparency. Something wrong? No, I don't think so. I'd say he probably got the reset that he needed. Are you sure? You seem distant. I don't mean silent, but rather like there's something eating you. I sigh. Is there something indeed? Maybe. I wasn't thinking of it actively, but there's a thought sleeping dormant in the back of my mind. Nothing big, but perhaps something I should tell him if it's eating me. I step towards Rune. He steps towards me. And there's the dark doubt again. The silence hangs between us, thick like tar, blue like the shadows and snow cast by the trees. This blue is the color of my guilt. It's the color of tears spilled in the wrongs that bite with maw of frost, feeding on me. I don't yield to it, though. I hold it at bay. I need to understand it, but I have to control it, or it would swallow me alive. It's a feeling. It's a pointer. Not the objective truth. I see now what I didn't see before. If I accept it, if I let it take me over, it'll be who I am. No. I need to change. He steps towards me. Are the mushrooms still working? I feel heavy, the exhaustion catching up with me once again. Carvine. I feel like I used him. Oh, Carvine. I feel like I used him. Did I really care about him, or only wanted a mirror to see myself in? Someone to give me comfort? A transgression against decency. Was I always acting like this? Was I ever a real friend to anyone? I can't do it again. I have to change. He steps towards me. The pureness in his eyes is what drew me to him first. He's not fixated on himself. He doesn't seem to want anything other than my company. He is what I am not. He has what I lack. I'm happy that I'm sharing this moment with him, truly as equal partners, as two friends. I'm here with him, not in my world. We're in this forest, fresh and so full of life that I want to laugh from the happiness spreading to my very fingertips. He steps towards me. I'm glad to see you're happy, and you have no idea how much of a relief it is that you're okay after everything that happened today. But even if I sat next to you, it was something you went on alone. I kind of wish you didn't throw me out and told me that you were planning what you were planning on. I don't know if I'd like to take anything too. Probably not, but I just felt kind of not included, even as I sat there with you. I should have. I didn't think about anyone else but myself in that moment. I didn't want anyone to see me angry or vulnerable. I didn't think I should talk to anyone at all. Now I see how stupid it was. I'm sorry, Carvine. I'll be a better friend, I promise. I step towards Rune and rest my forehead on his chest with a sigh. I'm just glad you're okay. Want to go back slowly? It's really cold. His arms wrap around me and pull me into a tight embrace, the stag almost lifting me off the ground. I'm really happy that you're here with me. I'm repeating myself a lot today, but thank you again. I have a lot to learn. Only now I see it. And now, let's go back home. We turned around, retracing our steps, but it looks like we've strayed far from the guest house. I can't see its lights through the dense branches. I walk close to Rune, bumping against him softly every few steps. He doesn't seem to mind, though, his head still lifted up. So, how was it? What did you see? I'm curious about all this, of course. I thought he wouldn't stop talking about what he saw, but instead he's much quieter than usual. Maybe he's just tired, or maybe he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't know. I won't press if he doesn't want to talk, but maybe he only needs a little nudge. Well, I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't translate well to language. I wasn't even thinking in language during parts of the trip, or rather the language was turning into sound, shapes, and colors. What I saw was tunnels filled with patterns that pulled me in. They were getting more and more intense until they morphed into these multi-dimensional worlds of metallic panels, all in constant flux. But a description like that doesn't do it any justice. I could try and try, but I still wouldn't be able to even approach how it felt. It was just too different from everything I knew. At the same time, some parts felt very familiar, like I was getting ultra-realistic flashbacks from my childhood. It wasn't like remembering some scenes, it was like being there and being 12 again. I don't feel like I'm fully back yet. I feel younger, but like 5 years at least. And well, it's a nice feeling, obviously, though I feel a bit lost in all this. Like I've seen things, stuff that I don't understand that shouldn't exist. I hope it's not freaking you out, but, well, it is freaking me out just a little bit. I think this was the most intense thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I think it does freak me out a tad. What memories did you see? Nice ones. I remembered playing with my childhood friend, and I remembered chopping wood with my father. That sounds nice. Do you still have a good connection? With my friend? No. My father? I don't think we've ever had. Let's say my parents have a bit too authoritarian ideas for what a parent-child relationship should look like. I'm glad to have them at a safe distance. Still, we're not in conflict or anything, and I could count on their help if I needed it. We just don't get along very well. But the memory was positive, overwhelmingly even. I looked around when we were in the forest, and it was the forest at the outskirts of Anslo that my father used to take me to for walks. It wasn't just a recollection. I was there with him again. Well, that's weird stuff. Sounds intense, but it doesn't sound unpleasant. Most of it wasn't. I think I was a bit too out of it to really enjoy it, though. Hard to enjoy even nice scenes when you have no idea what's going on. We both fall silent. Rune looks up at the sky, away from me, as if afraid he said too much. Silly dear, I'm just glad he's okay. Stuffing my cold paws into my pockets, I bump into his side once again, this time on purpose. I'm glad you're back. The guest house is brightly lit, glowing in this dark night with the promise of warmth. We make our way back to the terrace quickly, both already shivering. Thanks for the walk. It was nice to have company. Huh. Is that Devon in the cafeteria? What's he doing? I glance at the cafeteria windows, and indeed the panther's standing in the back with his laptop in his paw. We could go back to the cafeteria and say hello. He was worried about you. Maybe it'd be good to show yourself before the end of the day. Worried? Why would he be? Well, let's go then. At least to say goodnight. Rune! Devon turns to us as soon as we open the door, putting laptop back on the table. There you are. I was starting to get worried. Why worried? You weren't replying to any messages, and I couldn't find you in your room. I didn't know how you'd react to the news. What news? About the student exchange? Ah, the exchange program. The deer slumps. Did he forget about it? With how out of it he was, it's possible, but I think he would have remembered about it with how big of a deal it was for him. Right. Well, it did hurt. But I can't let it bring me down. It already happened. I need to slow down and take a rest first. Things just weren't going right for me lately, and I'm starting to think that maybe it's burnout. Good thing you notice it yourself now. That's the first step in dealing with it. Devon looks at me and our eyes meet for a moment. Looking over at the computer, he furrows his brow ever so slightly. Hey, Rune, you weren't at the film, right? I was just about to dismantle the projector, but it's still a reasonable hour. Maybe you want to watch something? I have a few films from your list downloaded. I could choose something short that you haven't seen yet. Alright, y'all. I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Tresem Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!